Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. So today we are going to discuss rest of the portion of the professional ethics topic and rest of the provisions of Chartered Accountants Act and the schedule thereto. Okay, so let's start the session. At any point in time, if you have any doubt, you can ask in the chat box or in the write type it down your question, and I will be taking up as in when I will be receiving the question. Okay, so don't wait till till the break time or till the lectures end time, but you can ask immediately as in when the question arises or you have a doubt. Okay, so let's start. Before I proceed for the next topic, like today's topic, let's see few of MCQs from the previous topic so that we can have a good understanding of that topic. Okay, let's now. Okay, so let's solve a few MCQs and then we can proceed forward. So first one, Mr. Q, signing partner at ABC Associates, was responsible for the statutory audit of EMEA Limited, a company involved in manufacturing of motor vehicles and automotive spare parts. Mr. Q did not have prior experience of auditing the companies which were involved in the manufacturing of motor vehicle and spare parts. During the audit team identified that the company is paying excessive price for the raw material like steel, iron compared to the prices on London Metals Exchange. This resulted in increase in manufacturing cost. When Mr. Q took up these matters with the management for the discussion, management pressured Mr. Q to agree with their way. Management also claimed that Mr. Q is new to this sector and management has hired experienced buyers and brokers who are brokering best price of these metals for the company. Mr. Q hired a professional expert in this subject matter and the auditor's expert opinion was in line with Mr. Q's opinion. When Mr. Q presented the auditor's expert opinion, management threatened Mr. Q with removal from the engagement and to change statutory auditors. In the light of above scenario, kindly evaluate like whether any what we need to evaluate is whether Mr. Q is facing any circumstances which may create a threat to compliance with the fundamental principles. Now, before we proceed to the options, let's try to answer the question without the options. Okay. So this is the question wherein the details are like, there is a signing partner at ABC, Mr. Q. Okay. He is auditing EMEA Limited. Then the next is company is paying excessive price for the raw materials like steel and iron compared to prices which are there on the London Metal Exchange. Secondly, when Mr. Q presented their way to the management that, okay, you are paying excessive price. Okay. Management pressured Mr. Q kind of. Okay. Mr. Q also had a professional expert, like auditor's expert opinion was in line with Mr. Q's opinion. When again Mr. Q presented, the management threatened Mr. Q with removal from the engagement to change the statutory auditors. Now, in this slide, you need to evaluate whether there is any threat to compliance with fundamental principles or not. So what do you think? Is there any threat to the compliance to the fundamental principles, or is there any threat or situation which is, creating a threat for the fundamental principles? Come on, guys. Good, Shankara. Very good. Is there any threat to fundamental principles? Come on, guys. Good, Vanshika. Pretty simple question. There is nothing difficult here. Straightforward. Straightforward question. Only two answers. No. Come on, guys. Let's see the options over here. Option one, yes, Mr. Q is facing intimidation threat, facing advocacy threat, facing familiarity threat, and D is Mr. Q is not facing any threat. So, which is the correct option? What is the correct option, guys? Good, Pooja. Very good. Very good, guys. Come on, quickly. Okay. So, the correct answer is yes. It's an correct. It's an intimidation threat. So, now what is the scenario here is uh, Mr. Q here, okay, is being pressured, is being threatened, so that management is trying to threaten Mr. Q that okay, you agree to our words or you agree to our opinion. Otherwise, what we will do is we will remove you or we will change the auditors and we some kind of pressure is there. So it's kind of an intimidation that is being done that threaten with the dismissal or replacement in relation to a client because of the disagreement about the profession. So the correct answer from the options also is A, not B, C, or D. Okay. So it's a kind of an intimidation threat. Clear? Okay. Let's see the next question. The next question is what Mr. Q should do when a threat to compliance is identified. Also suggest some safeguards to mitigate the above threat to compliance with fundamental principles. Now you tell me what Mr. Q should do when he identifies threat to the fundamental principles. Our options are if the professional accountant determines that the identified threats to the compliance with the fundamental principles are an acceptable level, the accountant shall address the threats by eliminating them or increasing them to the above acceptable level. If the professional accountant determines that the identified threat to the compliance with the fundamental principles are not at acceptable level, the accountant shall address the threats by eliminating them or reducing them to an acceptable level. If the management determines that the identified threat to the compliance with the fundamental principles of auditors are not at acceptable level, the management shall address the threat by eliminating them or reducing them. And the fourth one is if the management determines that identified threat to the compliance with fundamental principles of auditors are not acted as an acceptable level, the management shall address the threats by eliminating the auditor from the assignment to reduce them in an acceptable low level. So what should be the correct option? A, B, C, D. I'll just zoom out and bring it all the options together. Yep. So what do you think is the correct option? So question is here that what Mr. Q should do when a threat to compliance is identified. Come on, guys. What Mr. Q should do when compliance with threat is identified? What Mr. Q should do when a threat to compliance is identified. Okay, good, good Vimal, good Shruti, good Shankara, good Charu, good Pooja, very good. Okay, so in the current case, what should be done is that yes, a professional accountant should determine and identify the threats to the fundamental principles first. Okay, so kind of determining the threats to the fundamental principle or identifying threats to the fundamental principles, to the compliance to the fundamental principles, and then he needs to bring them to an acceptable level by either eliminating them or reducing them. Okay, to reduce them to acceptable level or to eliminate them, that he should do. Now, if you see the answer number one, it is that increasing them to the above acceptable level, which is incorrect. Basically, I should not be increasing them to above acceptable level. In answer number C, it's management. Management determines. So, it is the role of auditor, not of management. Same. D also, is talking about from the point of view of management. So that is not correct. That's why A, C, and D are not correct, whereas B is correct. Clear? Correct, Vimal. Very good. Yep. Let's see one question from MCQ booklets. So I'll be trying to cover, multiple questions from multiple sources so that, along with the provisions and along with the topic, we can cover as much as possible. Okay. So KB and Associates, a chartered accountant firm, has been appointed as an auditor of the company for financial year 2021. It consists of two partners, CAK and CAB. CAK is brother of the father of the finance director of the company. Okay. CAK is the brother of the father of finance director of company. Okay. CAB is an old friend of the finance director of the company. Now these both have been appointed as an auditor of the company. So auditor of the company for financial year 2021. And it consists of only two partners. KB and Associate consists of two partners, CAK, CAB. That's it. What kind of ethical threat is associated with the appointment of KB and Associate as an auditor? So what do you think? What kind of threat is there? Self-interest, self-advocacy, familiarity, or self-review? What kind of threat do you think it is there? Self-interest, advocacy, familiarity, or self-review? Good, Tanisha. Very good. Which kind of threat do you see over here? Good, Shankara. Good, Mancha. Come on. Pretty easy. Okay. Good, Sarvana. Okay. So the correct answer over here is familiarity threat. Reason because uh, It is they are familiar to the finance director of the company. They do not have an interest as per se. That's why I will not call it self-interest threat, but a familiarity threat. Okay. So not a self-interest, not a advocacy. They are not advocating the client to that extent they become, their objectivity or integrity compromises, but they are familiar, okay, to the particular person in the organization who is at a very good level, that the finance director. That's why it's a familiarity threat and not the self-review threat, because they are not reviewing their own work as of now. So familiarity threat is the correct answer. Okay. Okay. So we saw a few questions on the topic that we discussed yesterday. Rather, let's have one more question. Yeah. So let's have one more question. Mr. J, a chartered accountant in service, was appointed as a project manager under the full-time employment for DEF Limited, a NSE listed company. During a project, Mr. J identified that the DEF Limited might have not complied with some of the requirements of stock exchange listing agreement, which could result in penalties. However, as he was not having any further evidence with him to substantiate the non-compliance, it was out of the purview of his roles and responsibilities as a project manager. Mr. J ignored the matter and did not discuss with anyone in the organization. Kindly guide whether the decision of not disclosing the information to anyone in the organization regarding the potential breach is appropriate. And what are the options? Mr. J has signed an employment agreement which contains a clause of confidentiality. Also, as per the fundamental principles, Mr. J is required to maintain confidentiality all the times. Hence, it is appropriate that Mr. J did not discuss the matter with anyone. Mr. J, being a chartered accountant in service of a listed company, is required to evaluate to whom the disclosure should be made amongst the management or those charged with governance or appropriate authority regarding the potential non-compliance to prevent or mitigate the consequence of such imminent breach. Matters that are inconsequential or related to the personal misconduct pertaining to the business activity of the company are not required to be discussed with anyone. Hence, the decision of Mr. J is correct. If a professional accountant encounters or is made aware of non-compliance or suspected non-compliance in the course of providing a professional service to his employer, then he is not required to discuss the same and he is not required to investigate the same. What do you think is the correct answer? Come on, guys. What do you think is the correct answer? Good, Amir. Good, Pooja. Good, Anaga. Good one, Vanchika. Good, Anup. Shruti, Mansha. Very good. Okay. So basically, your answers are correct. Mr. J is a chartered accountant in service. Okay. And if he identified any suspected non-compliance, not the actual, but the suspected also, then he is required to evaluate whether to make a disclosure to those charged with governance, management, his seniors, like superiors, or to the appropriate authority regarding the potential non-compliance to prevent or mitigate the consequence of such imminent breach. So, yes, answer B will be the correct one. And that is something you can say related to uh, non-compliance with laws and regulations, NOCLA. Okay. A is not correct because of the no clar only. Same C and D are not correct. Good, Salesh. So, Anup, you have a doubt with respect to the professional behavior fundamental principle point on page number 19.10 with point 2A and 2B. Okay. So, point 2A talks about exaggerated claims for the service that they are able to offer, or the qualifications they possess, or the experience they have gained. Okay. Means, see, when I talk about professional behavior as a fundamental principle, that means that okay, I have to behave in a way which is appropriate, which is professional. Okay. And making exaggerated claims that okay, I am the best CA, I am the super CA of the particular city, XYZ city, I am the top one CA in the city, I possess these many qualifications, I am a CA, CS, LLB, XYZ, a lot of things. And to exaggerate the claims that okay, about the services that okay, we will do audit in 2 days, I have a team that I can do audit in 3 days, I can resolve the queries, I can do 100% auditing in a week, something like that, making exaggerated claims about the service they are able to offer, or the qualifications they are possessing, experience they have gained, is not appropriate. So when you exaggerate about qualification, experience, or any other area of your service related to your firm or your chartered accountancy, then that is not appropriate. That's not a professional behavior. Number two, disparaging references or unsubstantiated comparisons to the work of other. For example, another chartered accountant firm. Okay, let's say for example there is a chartered accountant firm, Anupen Chartered Accountants. Okay, Anupen Company. Now I say I do audit at a cheaper rate compared to Anupen Company, and I perform well, and I do a lot of these areas which Anupen Company doesn't do in auditing. Or for example, I make a comparison that okay, what are the things that Anupen Company as a chartered accountant provide, and what where we are. Remember, you might have seen such comparisons like okay, list of services and take okay, this Anupen Company is providing and somewhere not, and on the other side I have take on everyone, something like that. Some disparaging references that I'm making comparatively that okay, his service is not good, mine is more better than compared to his service. Okay. So, uh, accordingly, these two items do not depict disparaging references and exaggerated claims do not depict a professional behavior. I hope I'm clear. Yes, Tanisha, your answer was right. Yeah. Sure, Sankara. After the lecture, you will be having the access to the MCQs. MCQ booklet is available online. You can download it. It's available on the ICAI portal. That is there. But the MCQs that are discussed, other than the MCQ booklet, yes, definitely they will be there on the portal. Any doubt, guys? Any questions? Okay, great. Let's now move to next topic for the today after MCQs. Okay, I will be moving to the next area, that is the sections of Charter Accountancy Act. Okay, Charter Accountants Act 1949. So we will be seeing some sections of Charter Accountants Act 1949, and accordingly we will discuss the provisions and then move forward. Even schedules are parts of the Charter Accountants Act. Okay. Okay. Now, the first thing that I want to discuss is disability for the purpose of membership. Very important. Disability for the purpose of membership. Now, what are the disabilities because of which you cannot apply for the membership, or you are not eligible to be a member of the institute? And that is something that is enumerated under section 8 of the act. Now, a lot of students have this question: are we supposed to remember the section number? Are we supposed to remember which provision of which section is applicable? Answer is yes. Okay. So you need to remember the section number that is there. Okay. Now, what section 8 talks about? Section 8 says that under the following circumstances, a person is debarred from having his name registered or entered in the register of members. Means in the following situations, a person cannot apply for the membership, or if his name is there, he has to, his name can be removed from the register of membership. So what are those conditions? Is number one, if he has not attended the age of 21 years, if he has not attend the age of 21 years at the time of application. Okay. Second, if he is of unsound mind, if he is of unsound mind. Okay. Third, if he is undischarged insolvent. And fourth, if he is, let's say, for example, if he is discharged, but still a certificate from the court is yet to receive, okay, is yet to be received, stating that, okay, now he is discharged and insolvency was not because of his misconduct, rather it was caused by the misfortune. Okay, so means he is discharged, but he has not yet received any certificate. So discharged, insolvent, but certificate from court that insolvency was caused due to misfortune is pending. Again, so a certificate is required wherein the court says that, okay, the insolvency is not because of your misconduct, but it is because of your misfortune. So such a certificate is required if he is a discharge insolvent. Means he has paid all the liabilities, now he has no liabilities remaining to be paid. That's why he is a discharged. Or he is convicted by a competent court. Okay. Whether in India, outside India, for an offense involving moral turpitude and punishable with an imprisonment, okay, or an offense of not a technical nature committed by him in his professional capacity, okay, unless in relation to that offense that he has committed, he has either granted a pardon or application has been made on behalf of him to the central government, and an order has been issued in writing to remove the disability. But in general terms, if he has been convicted by a competent court, okay, for an offense involving moral turpitude, and punishable with imprisonment, or an offense not of a technical nature committed by him in his professional capacity, then he is not allowed, or he is rather debarred from having his name entered in the register. Then, if he has been removed from the membership due to professional or other misconduct, if he has been removed from membership due to professional and other misconduct. If that is the case, then yes, his name again, he becomes, debarred, or he cannot have his name entered again into the register of members. Okay. Now, a lot of people have this question that, okay, we uh, clear the exam at the age of 19. Some people clear the exam at the age of 19. What is the scenario? See, clearing an exam and having your name entered into the register is different scenario. Okay, so if you want to have your name entered into the register of members, you have to be you have to have attended the age of 21 years at the time of application for the entry. Okay, so at the time of application of entry, if you have attended that age, then only your name will be there. There is no bar on appearing in the exam, but there is a bar when your name should be entered into the register of members. So you kind of say disqualifications or disabilities, both are same. There is no difference in this. When I say undischarged insolvent, that means that he declares at some point in time bankruptcy. He declared that he was insolvent, and till today he has not applied to the competent court for for discharging from his insolvency. Like, what is the process usually is, once you are an insolvent, okay, you need to apply the court to show them, okay, now you can pay all your liabilities, and accordingly, once court agrees that you can pay your liabilities or you have paid your liabilities, they provide you a certificate that, okay, now you are a discharge insolvent, means you are no longer an insolvent. You were earlier, but now you are no longer. See, again, what we are discussing here is not the certificate of membership. It's just a entering his name into register of members. Certificate of membership comes after that. Once you are, your name is there in the register of members, then you can apply for certificate of membership. Okay. Now, if any of such disability is there, okay, and the member has not disclosed, or later on found that the member did not disclose any of such disability, okay, then his name can be removed from the register of members. Again, like, not disclosing any of the disability to the institute could result in professional misconduct. Means, if you are not disclosing this, member not disclosing these disabilities, then that is professional misconduct. And we saw the last point wherein if there is a professional or other misconduct, okay, his name can be removed. So not disclosing the disability can result in professional misconduct, and due to professional misconduct, your name can be removed from the register of members. So it's in that way. Now, the next topic, that is types of membership, basically. So, what types of memberships are there, and accordingly, what is the scenario that we will see? Just a minute. Okay. Types of membership. I'll suggest everyone to take notes with me, because these notes will be helpful at the time of exam. You can take notes in your own way, but these will be really helpful in the at the last moment for the revision purpose. Okay. So, Section 5 of the Act talks about types of member of the institute. There could be two types of members. One is the associate member. Second is the fellow members. Okay. Now, when I talk about associate member, at the time of entering your name into the register, you can be an associate member of the institute. Okay. So there is, once your name is entered, you become associate member from day one. So there is no additional requirement to be an associate member. But, but if you want, okay, to be a fellow member, in that case, you need to be an associate member who is in practice for continuous 5 years, or associate member for a period of not less than 5 years, plus having such qualification as prescribed by the council. If these are the two conditions are satisfied, any of the conditions are satisfied, then you can, with an application, seek your number, you seek your name to be entered as a fellow member. So, associate member means whose name has been entered into register. And fellow, for fellow member, you have to comply conditions. So, associate member, that is ACA, we usually write associate chartered accountant. Uh, if you are a ACA for 5 years, at least 5 years, or who has been in a continuous practice in India for at least 5 years. So, ACA plus continuous practice for at least 5 years in India, or the another condition is that, I'll write it down here, a member who has been associate for continuous period of not less than 5 years, means you are associate member for period of more than 5 years, continuous period, sorry, of more than 5 years. Okay. Plus, or you can say, and who possesses such qualification as may be prescribed. Who possesses such qualification as may be prescribed. Generally, when I say such qualifications, these qualifications are, in line with like, okay, he has the experience equivalent to the experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice of 5 years as a chartered accountant. Means, such qualifications which can equate the experience that a person receives when he is, already there into the practice of 5 years, similar experience kind of. If he can get from any qualification, then that qualification as prescribed, uh, if that is there, plus he is ACA for more than period of 5 years, if the two conditions are satisfied, then you can apply for the fellow membership. Okay, so either you should be at least for in continuous practice for at least 5 years, or if you are not in practice, then at least you should be associate member for the 5 years and you should possess such qualification, okay, as may be prescribed by council, ensuring that he has the experience equivalent to the experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice for a period of 5 years as a chartered accountant. Any doubt? So now the question comes is, what is continuous practice? Okay, target this particular topic. What is continuous practice? Reason, because we will understand what do we mean by being in practice. There is a definition. We need to understand the definition, and once we'll understand the definition, then you can correlate back with the here. So what is being in practice? So as of now, park it on the side. Yes, we will understand this definition in a while. Uh, Shankara, the thing is, there is a bar on using some other designations. Okay, we will see that what is a bar by for using other designations along with the designation of a charter accountant. What designations are not allowed and what are allowed. Okay, usually it is prohibited to use any other designation along with the designation of charter accountant. So that is something you can say contained in the section 7 when we deal with this that requirement. Okay, so we'll come to that particular point. Okay, difference between point 3 and point 4. I think Anup, you are talking with respect to this one here, point 3 and 4. If he is undischarged insolvent and discharged insolvent. So as I told you, like undischarged means he has not paid his liabilities because of which he became insolvent. Discharge means he has paid the liability, but he has not received the certificate from the court. That's the difference between both of them. Please explain convicted by competent court. So he is convicted by competent court. Competent court can be any court, but he is convicted for any of the offenses involving moral turpitude or where there is an imprisonment, or you can say that he has been convicted by a competent court and he was found guilty while discharging his professional duties. So in both of the cases, he becomes disability arises. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? See, now understand that thing. When I talk about disability, these are the disabilities like in undischarged insolvent, discharged insolvent, convicted by a competent court, or he has his name has been removed. All these things are to be understood like, okay, these are with respect to something that is not appropriate. Like for example, when I say discharge insolvent but certificate from the court is not obtained, okay, means I have not received a certificate from the court saying that this insolvency was not because of my misconduct. Okay. I am undischarged insolvent that I have still not paid my liabilities. I am convicted by a court because I did something wrong and the professional and other misconduct. So in each of the cases, there is something wrong has been done, and that's why your name is being removed. Okay. Now, so these are the two types of membership that we have. Now, with respect to the section 8 itself, this is a disability. Remember, this is a disability because of which either you cannot apply for the membership or your name cannot be entered into the register of members, or if there you already have a name in register of members, in that case, your name can be removed from the register of members. So there is another section, section 20, which talks about removal of name from register. Okay. Removal of name from the register. Now, when can the name be removed? Either who is dead, if the person is no longer there, then yes, his name will be removed. Second, who has requested uh, to that effect that, okay, please remove my name, who has requested for removal. Third, who has not paid any prescribed fee. That is required to be paid by him for the membership purposes. If he has not paid, yes, his name can be removed. And who is found or have to be, or who is subject to at the time his name was entered in the register or at any time thereafter. Okay. Who is found or who is subject to any of the disability that is contained in section 8. So if any disability is present as prescribed under section 8, then yes, your name can be removed. Okay, so the council shall remove the name of the person or of any member, rather, any member from the register in respect of whom an order has been passed under this act. Okay, removing his name from and his membership from the institute. Okay, so that is the removal of name from the register. And let's say, for example, if your name has been removed for not paying the prescribed fees, okay, then in that case, there is a regulation 19 with respect to the section 20 itself, which talks about restoration of membership. So let's say, for example, your name has been removed. Now you want to restore, okay, your membership. Then what is the procedure and what is the provision then? Okay. The regulation 19 of the Charter Accountants Regulation 1988 talks about that. Okay, when a person makes the application to the council, okay, that okay, my name was removed from the register of members because for the non-payment of prescribed fees, okay, and otherwise I am eligible except for this reason, like okay, it was removed from the register because I did not pay the prescribed fee. Then in that case, what is the scenario is he needs to give the application for restoration Okay. And requisite fee, or which is, prescribed fee that is there, he needs to pay. He has to apply, he needs to give an application plus prescribed fee within same year. Okay, within same year of removal. If he gives both of the items, application plus fees, within same year of removal, in that case, yes, his name can be restored from the date when it was removed. So restoration with effect from the date of the removal. Restoration of name from the date of removal. In the second case, let's say for example, the removal was under any order, like he was professionally he was found guilty of professional misconduct, or because of any other order that was passed either by the board of discipline, either by the disciplinary committee, or by the appellate authority, or even the high court. Okay, so removal was because of any order that was passed. In that case, restoration, okay, restoration is only possible in accordance with such order. Like, what is the order, background of the order, why the order was sought. Let's say for example, he was debarred from being member for 6 months. Then if he was debarred for the 6 months, whether 6 months has elapsed or not, so restoration as per the order in that case. If he has been removed for any other case which is not covered by these two, in other cases, the restoration shall be, okay, from the date of application and fees. Application from the date when I apply for the restoration of membership, and payment of fees. So from that particular date, from the date of application and payment of fees, my name will be restored into the register of members. Clear? Any doubt with respect to restoration of membership? Okay. So there is one doubt. In fellow membership, there is a qualification prescribed that, okay, who possess such qualification as may be prescribed. Okay. What is that qualification, or what is that particular provision? Understood. So see, there are two ways you can, apply for the ACA. Number one, what is the requirement? Is either you should be in continuous practice of at least 5 years. If you are not in continuous practice of at least 5 years, the second condition says that, okay, either be a main continuous practice, or you should be a fellow member for 5 years or more. Okay, continuous for period of 5 years or more, and you should possess such qualifications as may be prescribed by the council. Now, these qualifications are generally in line with, okay, equivalent to the experience that you gain from the practice for 5 years. So these are the qualifications which are, prescribed in that way. So for that also there is a form, I think, and you need to apply to the institute stating your particulars. Okay, why you want your name to be entered into the register of members, and the details are there in that particular form. Okay, so when you apply your case to case basis, that is evaluated, and again on the basis of that, uh, your name might be entered or might not be entered based on the case. But yes, this is a scenario. Either you should be for at least continuous practice of at least 5 years, or you should be a fellow member plus, oh sorry, associate member for 5 years, and should possess such qualifications as prescribed. Okay. So the next question is, can NAFRA act against, or NFRA act against CA? Can NFRA interfere with the removal process? That's why for the restoration of member, when I said removal due to any order, it includes it if it is the order passed by the NFRA. So yes, NFRA can cause your name to be removed from the register of member. Any doubts? Okay, so at the in the first case, when the application for the restoration plus prescribed fee is paid within the same year of the removal, then you can get it your name back in the register of members from the date it was removed. Now, what is the logic behind this? Is uh, the thing is, if your name is being removed and there has been time that, okay, let's for example 2 years, 3 years, and you want to apply again for the restoration, you have to pay the restoration fees plus you have to apply for the application. But when it is for more than one period, restoration fees usually for is for that particular current year, and some other fees if there is any. So that's why, in case if it is not the same year, your name cannot appear in the register of members from the year which are already closed. Okay. If I say the financial year is closed or registers are closed for that particular year, how can I go back and have your name in that register? That's why if it is in the same year, then okay, from the date of removal, I can re-enter the name again. But if the year is done, year is closed, member of register for that year is finalized, I cannot alter that. That's why you see the difference. I hope I am clear, Charu. Okay. That was the restoration of membership. Now, the next point that I want to discuss, okay, is penalty for falsely claiming to be a member. And that is very important point because a lot of people do that and they uh, land into a very big problem. So that you should not do this particular scenario. So what is the scenario is, there is a penalty when you claim to be a member of the institute but you are not a member yet. Falsely claiming to be a member. That is section 24. Okay. Now section 24 says that if you are not a member of institute and you represent yourself as a member of institute, okay, represent that he is member of institute, okay, or uses designation charter accountant when he is not a member of institute, represents that he is a member of institute or uses designation of charter accountant. That is the first thing. Second, being a member of institute, like, okay, in these both these cases you will be held guilty and punishable with fine and offense and everything that is there. But second case is, you are member, okay, member of institute, but not having COP. Not having COP represents that I am in a practice. Not having COP represents that he is in practice. Okay. In that case, in number one and number two, you will be you can be fined, and you can be imprisoned also. Like, so the fine is for the first conviction. For the first conviction, the fine extends to rupees 1,000. Okay, up to 1,000 basically. For the subsequent convictions, there are two things. One, imprisonment up to 6 months. Second is a fine up to rupees 5,000, or both. Okay, it can be either or both, like on subsequent conviction. So either for the first conviction 1,000, up to 1,000; on subsequent conviction, imprisonment 6 months, fine up to 5,000, or both. Okay. So if any of the conditions is satisfied, you can be penalized in this way. So if I'm not a member of institute, I claim that I am a member of institute, or I use the designation of a charter accountant when I'm not a member of institute. That is a problem. Okay. So represents that he is a member of institute, or uses the designation of charter accountant when not a member of institute. If he is not a member and does this act, then yes, he can be held guilty and can be, penalized in this way. Okay. Okay. So there's a doubt if the fees is paid in the next year, the name will be restored from with effect from next year. Answer is yes. Please share your PPT. Actually, this is the PDF file. I'll definitely share with you these PDF files. So once the lecture will be over, okay, I will be uploading this PDF file on the portal, and you can then download it. But what I suggest is after the completion of topic, I'll upload this PDF file. The reason, because this is the same PDF file that I'm using from for a particular topic. I create different PDFs for the different topic, like professional ethics one, standard second, different standard second, then companies audit, or like this way. So different PDF files for different topics. So at least you can not have to deal with so many PDF files. So what will be the scenario is, once this particular topic is over, I'll upload this whole PDF file on the portal. Okay. Along with that, on a daily basis, like after the lectures, you will be having what you say, the MCQs which are there on the portal itself. Okay. I hope that will be fine. Very good question. In case where the member has applied for the restoration of membership, and in the meanwhile uses the designation, will that attract the penalty? Answer is yes. It's not like that you should have applied or application. The words are pretty much clear. Not being a member represents that she is a member. Till the time your application has not been accepted, you are not a member. That is for sure. Okay. And once your applications get accepted, your name is entered into the register of member. You have been provided a membership number, means you are a member. So till the time you have not received your membership number, even though if you have applied, you are not a member, you should not represent yourself as a member. So these files will be available on your BOS application also. Plus these files will be available on the BOS portal. So you can go and do the student login, and from there you can access these files batch wise. So you need to go on the BOS portal for downloading the files. Clear? Okay. Now, let us quickly see one question, and then then we can move forward. Okay. Let me just go below. Mr. A was in practice, or you can say Mr. A was providing the service of accounting and bookkeeping in Netherlands. He was a registered, okay, you can say he was a registered CA under, just give me a minute. Let me, he was a registered CA under Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. Okay. Since you can say 2010. He was also a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India since 2005. He wishes to apply for fellow membership in you can say in 2023. Okay, let's say FY. Let's use the FY in financial year 2022-23. He wants to apply for the fellow membership in financial year 22-23. Okay. Kindly guide Mr. A with respect to relevant provisions of CA. So first of all, my question here is whether Mr. A can apply for the fellow membership. My question is like, okay, first question, whether Mr. A can apply for fellow membership. Can he apply for the Malone membership? Mr. A was providing the service of accounting and bookkeeping in Netherlands. He was a registered CA under ICAEW since 2010. He was also a member of ICAI since 2005. Okay. He wishes to apply for the fellow membership in financial year 22-23. No, Saravanan. He does not have. Okay. Now, so yes, he can apply. Okay, fine. Yes, he can apply. Second question comes is whether he uh, he can apply as per the first criteria or second criteria. The first criteria was for a continuous period of in practice for a continuous period of 5 years. Second criteria was that okay, if he is not in practice, then at least associate member for 5 years or more, and then such qualifications. So let's assume he's member since 2005, and that is continuous. So I have written over here that okay, he's in membership since 2005. So let's assume this is a continuous membership. Okay. First or second? Whether first criteria or on the second criteria, under which criteria he will apply? Good, Aniket. Good, Asravanan. Good, Charu. Good, Tanisha. Very good. Absolutely correct, Sravanan. Very good. Good, Pooja. Very good. Understand the thing. Like you need to pay attention to the words. Okay. The first criteria that I was discussing had something that he should be in continuous practice first of all. Okay. Plus, that should be in India. For 5 years, I agree, but that should be in India. That is the requirement that he should be in continuous practice for the 5 years plus in India. Now, let's say, for example, in the current scenario, I say that okay, this person was in practice, but whether was he in India? Like he was in Netherlands, not in India. Now, if he was in Netherlands, I cannot go under the first criteria by default, even if he was in practice. But I have not provided that information purposefully. Reason because I have when I have not provided the information means he's not in practice. I have just only mentioned he's a member of ICAI. So the criteria under which he can apply is the second criteria, not the first. Okay. So if he can demonstrate that okay, he has an equivalent experience that is supposed to be had by a person who is in continuous practice of 5 years, then yes, he can apply in second criteria. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts till now? See, okay, so there is one more doubt. If what if the person is in employment in one of the companies, okay, and then he wants to apply for the membership. Now, again, as I say, that again, in that case, the person is required to have that particular, level of experience, which is equivalent to the experience that a chartered accountant in practice of 5 years should have. If that can be demonstrated, yes, he can get himself registered under the second criteria, not the first criteria. But in the first criteria, he cannot get himself registered because there is requirement of in practice. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? Okay. Now, the next point that I want to discuss is with respect to the again being in practice. Okay. Now we saw restoration of membership and example with respect to application for the fellow membership. Now there is what is mean to be practice and what is the definition of being in practice. Like what is a scenario? So Section 6 of the Chartered Accountants Act, okay, talks about that no member should be allowed to practice unless he has obtained a certificate from the council. Okay, so what is the importance of a certificate of practice that we need to understand? You can say importance or significance, both it's fine. Or importance of COP. Okay, that is section 6. Okay. Now, when I talk about, okay, the person should have COP in order to practice, that is as per section 6. Section 6 says that no member should be entitled to practice in India or elsewhere unless he has obtained COP. So, no member shall practice unless he has obtained COP from council. Okay. Now, if and again, there is another criteria that he should pay the fees for each year, annual fees that is required to be paid. Then, no, every member shall pay the fees of each and every year so that he can be in continuous practice and his name should not be removed. Okay, so that is a criteria for section 6. Okay, fine. I'll not discuss that criteria here because we have already discussed the fees criteria. Now, the point comes is that, okay, if a person, okay, if a person who has obtained certificate of practice under section 1, like, okay, for example, of section 6, that he is practicing and he has obtained the certificate. The certificate can be cancelled by the council as may be prescribed because of the circumstances that could be there. So certification can be cancelled. Now, once a certificate is cancelled, okay, once a certificate is cancelled, then chartered accountant cannot render the services which are normally, are falling under the purview of a practice. So, for example, let's say, for example, I'm a chartered accountant. Okay, I was providing the service of auditing services, audit and assurance services. That is based on my practicing. That okay, I have a COP, I'm providing. Now, if my certificate of practice has been cancelled, I cannot deliver the services of a chartered accountant. That is there. That is well-known fact. The second step to this particular well-known fact is even I cannot appear before any authority in the capacity of a chartered accountant. So once my certificate of practice is cancelled, okay, once the COP has been cancelled, okay, or for any reason, okay, uh, like I am excluded or I am, barred by the council for practicing, okay, or barred by council or any authority, by any authority from practicing, okay, or I'm no longer a member for certain period. In that case, I cannot appear. Then that member who is no longer a member, basically, that member cannot appear before any authority in the capacity of charter accountant. Okay, in the capacity of charter accountant. Now the question comes is that okay, like how can I identify that okay I was appearing in the capacity of charter accountant, or I am, let's say for example, I'm being barred from practicing. Okay, now if I'm being barred from practicing, I go to income tax office and I represent myself. Now, in that case, if I represent myself, that I say, okay, I'm not like, how can you decide the person going to income tax office is if he's representing himself in the form of charter accountant or if he's representing in any other form? So the council of the view that if like you usually do not represent yourself in income tax office other than the charter accountant, then you are representing yourself as a CA. So if I'm going to a income tax office and usually I represent myself, and if I go there as a CA, okay, I am being there as a CA, then I cannot preclude myself that okay, I am not appearing as a as a chartered accountant. In that case, I will be held that okay, I am appearing as a chartered accountant. Means I cannot take the benefit of this particular scenario. Okay, now I'm appearing as a chartered accountant. Now I'm not appearing as a chartered accountant. I do not have that flexibility. Usually, if a person appears before the income tax authority in a form of a chartered accountant, means he's appearing as a chartered accountant. And if you are being barred from practicing, or your COP has been barred, cancelled, you are no longer a member, then you cannot appear as a chartered accountant. Okay. So usually if you appear before an authority in a form, in a way of a chartered accountant or as a chartered accountant, then you cannot appear once your COP has been barred, even in any other way. because you cannot separate that thing. That okay, now I'm not a chartered accountant, now I'm appearing as a lawyer. Let's say, for example, I'm a LLB. Okay, I'm a lawyer plus I'm a chartered accountant, or let's say I'm a CS also. Hypothetical example. Now my COP has been barred for CA. Okay, till now I was appearing as a chartered accountant. My COP has been barred. Okay, I'm no longer a practicing member. Even I'm no longer a member. I go to income tax office for the purpose of some work that is there. Can I say I am appearing in the capacity of a lawyer? Can I say I'm appearing in the capacity of a CS? Answer is no. Reason because till date I was appearing in the capacity of a chartered accountant. Means today also I cannot just for the purpose of sake of say that okay I am CS now I'll start appearing from in the form of CF. No. So that is the opinion that has been taken by the council that a chartered accountant whose name has been removed from the membership for professional any other misconduct during such period of removal, he will not appear before various tax authorities or other bodies before whom he could have appeared in the capacity of a member of institute. Okay. So once your name is removed, you cannot appear in before the authorities where you used to appear as a CA. So there is a question if CA has opted to practice for 10 years now and obtain a COP and then chooses to go employment with corporation, then he is required to surrender COP. Answer is yes. Any doubts, guys? Any doubt? Charu, with respect to your doubt, the FCA and CA in practice will take after break reason because I want to discuss a topic that is deemed to be in practice. And over there, I'll explain the difference that how a chartered accountant can be called deemed to be in practice while being in service. Okay. If no doubts, then okay, let's take a quick 10-minute break. After the break, we'll gather back and we'll continue the session. Okay, let's take a quick 10-minute break. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the lecture again. Welcome back. Okay, let's continue the session. Now, very important point that I want to discuss is member deemed to be in practice. Okay, and what I mean by in practice. Okay. Now, we were earlier discussing how to be a fellow member. Okay, over there was one point who possesses such qualification as prescribed. Okay, like equivalent to be in a practice. Now here, I want to discuss one of the provision from the regulation which specifies that okay, what is meant by to have such qualification which is equivalent to be in practice. Okay, what is such qualification that shall deem to have acquired the experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice for a period of 5 years as a chartered accountant. Okay, so for this, you can say there is a regulation 5(3) of CA regulations. Okay, of chartered accountants regulation. Regulation 5(3) generally provides okay when I can call a person okay is having equivalent experience as he was supposed to have or he should have in line with if he was in practice for 5 years. Okay, when section 5 says that a member who is an associate for a continuous period of not less than 5 years and possess such qualifications, okay, with a view to ensuring that he has an experience equivalent to normally acquired as a result of continuous practice of 5 years, then that is so I'll write it down. Regulation 5(3) qualification equivalent to the experience. Okay. Now, what are these qualifications? Okay, or any such scenario where I can say I have I have experience equivalent to a experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice of 5 years. So number one, if I am in a government service, okay, employed in government service, or I'm employed in an educational institute approved by council, educational institute approved by council, or I am employed in a private or government or industrial or commercial trading undertaking. So, employed in private or government, okay, commercial or trading undertaking, or you can say, or industrial, commercial, or trading undertaking. Okay, for a period or is ordin for a period not less than 5 years. That should be plus for period not less than 5 years, and I should be carrying duties. I am employed or in government service or educational institute, private or government or industrial, which is a commercial or trading undertaking, but I shall be carrying duties for the 5 years or more carrying duties like related carrying duties related to accounts, cost accounts, audit, finance, taxation, company law, okay, or secretarial work. Then I can be called that I have the experience that is equivalent to the experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice for a period of 5 years as a chartered accountant. So the criteria is that I should be in government service or should be employed in an educational institute approved by the council, or I should be employed in a private or government industrial, commercial, or trading undertaking, and should be holding or should have held for a continuous period of not less than 5 years. Again, so the term is continuous period for, I'll just move it, for a continuous period of not less than 5 years. The positions and or I might be carrying duties equal of accounts, cost accounts, audit, finance, taxation, company law, or secretarial work. Either I should be carrying duties or should be holding the post. Okay. So if that is a scenario, then in that case, yes, I will be having equivalent experience. So if a person who is employed in a private or industrial undertaking, okay, for a continuous period of more than 5 years, okay, and he's carrying duties, let's say, for example, of audit, internal audit, or finance, or taxation in that educational institute or in that private undertaking, in that case, as per the regulations, yes, he will be having equivalent qualification, okay, or experience equivalent to the experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice for a period of 5 years as a chartered accountant. And he can fit into criteria, second criteria for a fellow membership. Clear? Now, along with government service, it includes my government service or statutory authority or local authority. Statutory or government service, statutory authority, local authority, educational institute approved by the council, okay, or employed in private or government or industrial, commercial under or trading undertaking. So these are the already classes given where a person can be employed, and same time if he is doing the work for more than 5 years, these type of works, he can apply for FCA under criteria 2. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts? There was one doubt. If COP has been cancelled, but I am a member, can I go for employment? See, for employment, are you being employed as a member or as a COP? Like, what is the scenario of your employment? At times, it may happen that I'm not doing I'm not being employed because I'm a member. I'm employed because I might be having some other degree, some other experience. That does that matter? That totally depends upon your employment. Okay. Now, the second part to this is members deemed to be in practice. Okay. Now, why deemed to be in practice is there? Why this concept is there? Okay. Now, when I say a chartered accountant can apply for a fellows membership or he can apply for COP. Okay. At that particular point in time, I can say he can only perform if he can only apply for certificate of practice when he's not he has no disability. Plus, he cannot perform any functions of a practice unless he has a COP. And for that, we need to understand what is being meant by practice, okay, and what is deemed to be in practice. Because the term deemed to be in practice is useful to understand the term practice, plus it is useful to understand when a person can apply for a membership. Because when I say for a continuous period of 5 years in practice, what I mean by in practice, wherever I use the word practice, what is meant by that particular practice? Okay, so there is a definition which is to be in practice defined under section 22 of the act. Okay, so let's understand the term to be in practice, and we will then understand the term deemed to be in practice, both together. So wherever I say that to be in practice, to be in practice, or the word practice, that is something being defined under section 22 of the act. Now, what that section says, what is to be in practice means, okay? A member shall deemed to be in practice or will be counted as in practice when individually or in partnership, okay? Member individually or in partnership, okay, with other chartered accountant in practice or in partnership with such members as may be recognized, as may be prescribed, okay. He or like individually or in partnership engages himself in the practice of accountancy. So engages himself in practice of accountancy or offers or performs to offers or performs services involving audit, verification of financial transactions, audit, verification of financial transactions, okay, books, accounts, verification of books, accounts, records, or preparation, verification, certification of financial accounting. So preparation, certification, then financial accounting, or related statements. Very important point. That is, or holds himself or herself, okay, out to be public, holds himself or herself out to be in public as an accountant. Either he should be providing service of auditing, verification of financial transactions, of books, accounts, records, or preparation, verification, certification of financial transactions, records, related statements, or he is holding himself or herself, she is holding herself out to be in public as an accountant. In that case, a member can be called to be in practice. Third condition, again, or it's or, okay, renders professional service or assistance, okay, about matters related to accounting procedures, recording, presentation, certification of financial facts and data. So renders professional service or assistance about accounting procedures, then recording, presentation, certification of financial facts and data. Fourth is renders such services as may be prescribed. Okay. So if any of the four categories, if any of the four, or this one, or this one, or this one, if the member is, okay, doing any of these four items, then he can be called that he is deemed to be in practice. Okay. If he offers and performs services involving auditing, verification of financial transaction, or he himself or she herself holds out to be in public as an accountant, or renders professional services, assistance about accounting procedures, recording, presentation, certification of financial facts or data, renders services as may be prescribed. In that case, yes, they can be held as to be in practice, deemed to be in practice. Clear till now? Any doubts till this particular point, that what I am meant to be in practice, like what it is meant to be in practice, what services are there as of now? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay. Now there's a list of services which are, okay, prescribed here in the last point, that is render such services as may be prescribed. The council has prescribed such services. So council has issued and prescribed such services. These services, we need to understand what are these services, and accordingly, we need to we will be discussing this. Just give me a minute. Just a minute. Let me. Sorry for the inconvenience. Just let me open the file. It's taking a bit of time. Just a minute. Why it's taking a bit of time. Okay, so these services are, these are known as a management consultancy services. These services are already being, provided by the council. Okay, these are the services that, uh, you know, if a chartered accountant provides these services, then he will be called that he's deemed to be in practice. Okay, so these are such services, and these are prescribed by again council. Okay, now when I say these services, there's a list of services, nearly 25 services, I think, or even more than that, which, if any chartered accountants of, gives, delivers these services, then we can say that he is into practice. Now, everyone, if you guys already have the ICAI module with you, I want to refer from that particular module. So you can come on the page, uh, that is 19.28. This one, page 19.28 in the ICI module. So here there's a list provided already, which are these services which fall under the category of management consultancy services. So the expression management consultancy services includes these all services. Okay. So let's see one by one each and every service. First is the financial management planning and financial policy determination. Second is the capital structure planning and advice regarding raising finance, working capital management, preparing project reports and feasibility studies, preparing cash budgets, cash flow statement, profitability statement, budgeting including capital budgets and revenue budgets, inventory management, market research and demand studies, price fixation and other management decisions, management accounting systems and cost control and value analysis, control methods, management information and reporting, personal recruitment and selection, setting up executive incentive plans, managerial and operational audits, valuation of shares in business and advice regarding amalgamation. Okay, acting as a registered valuer under Companies Act, business policy, corporate planning, organizational development, organizational structure and behavior, development of human resources. Okay, then system analysis and design and computer related services. Then you have a acting as an advisor or consultant to an issue, including drafting prospectus, memorandums. Okay, then filing of listing agreements, completing formalities with stock exchange, preparation of publicity budget, advice regarding arrangement of selection of ad media centers, holding for conference for brokers, investors, banker to issue, collection centers, brokers to issue, again, underwriters. Then, advice regarding selection of various agencies, advice on the post issue activities. This whole was related to an issue. This whole is related to any issue. Then you have a investment counseling in respect of securities. You have acting as a registrar to an issue for transfer of shares, quality audit, environment audit, energy audit, acting as a recovery consultant, insurance finance advisor, okay, acting as an insolvency professional, and other admin services. Okay, now admin services like routine or mechanical tasks with the normal course of operation of such clients, assisting clients, which where service require little or no professional judgment are in clerical nature. All these are classified as a management consultancy services. Okay, but these shall not include, again, shall not include Functions like of statutory periodical audit, tax, both direct tax and indirect tax audits, representation or advice concerning tax matters, or acting as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator, or receiver. Okay, so these are the things which are not part of your management consultancy services, but they will be falling under the category of your normal services, normal to be in practice category. So functions of statutory periodical audit, okay, tax, functions of tax, representation, which or advice concerning tax matters or acting as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator is part of normal practice, not the management consultancy and other services. Okay. Now, few of you have might be having this question: are we required to learn all these services? Are we required to remember point wise each and every service? There is no need to learn and remember these services, because this covers everything, almost everything. I don't see any such service which the chartered accountant provides and it's not covered by this management consultancy service. Somehow, one or another, it will be covered in one or other area. Do I need to remember point wise? If possible, you can remember, then do. Like there is no harm in that. But if you are not able to remember line item wise, it's fine. You need to remember what kind of services are included in management consultancy service. Rather, remember the negative list. Okay, like statutory periodical audit, tax related, liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator, receiver are not part of management consultancy service. So if you remember the negative list, you will remember, okay, that's what is included. Like, there will be no doubt in that area. Then you can call that, okay, that could be part of management consultancy. Okay. So by this way, you can remember what is in management consultancy and what is not. So that is exclusion from that. Reason why there is an exclusion, because these management consultancy these services like audit and tax related, liquidator, trustee, executor are part of your normal to be in practice, not the management consultancy and other services. And again, just to summarize, so there are 4 points where if a chartered accountant or a member provides the services or in these 4 points, then he can be called into being in practice. Okay. First one, if he practice in accountancy. Second, related to audit, or he holds out herself or she holds out herself to be as an accountant in public. Then renders professional services about accounting procedures, recording, bookkeeping, or renders such services as may be prescribed. And here you have management consultancy service. Okay. So if any of the services is being provided, then yes, that member can be called to be in practice, deemed to be in practice. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? Okay. If no doubt, then I have a question to ask. How many of you are aware about Section 144 of Companies Act? You should be aware, but how many of you are aware about Section 144 of Companies Act? Come on. How many of you are aware about Section 144 of Companies Act? Correct. Correct. Good. Okay. If you guys are aware about that, okay, let's understand a question. Let's solve a question and then we can move forward. Mr. B, a practicing chartered accountant, was engaged in conducting statutory, energy, and environmental audit for his client. As a result, he had good knowledge of policies and practice followed by the energy sector. In 2021, some of his clients approached him and asked him to share his knowledge and guide him in which energy company they should invest in. Mr. B considered their request and started providing paid advisory regarding investment in energy sector stock. By the end of 2021, Mr. B's client made a good amount of profit based on the advice provided by Mr. B. The overall gross income earned by Mr. B from the advisory regarding the investment in energy sector for the calendar year was 25 lakh 60,000. Kindly guide whether Mr. B is liable for professional misconduct. So, Mr. D, a chartered accountant, was providing investment advisory service, kind of, which is, I think, already a part of your this management consultancy services. Mm, it was somewhere here. In financial advisory, insurance financial advisory, or uh, investment counseling in respect of securities. This one. So you already have an investment counseling, with in respect of security. So investment advisory service somewhere down the line is already part of MCQ, that management consultancy service. So he is providing that management consultancy service. Do you think he can be held guilty of professional misconduct? If yes, then why? So the question is, Mr. B is giving advice to his client with respect to investment in energy sector stock. Their clients made a huge fortune, like good amount of profit, and they paid him fees of 25 lakh 60,000. Okay. So on their request, paid advisory service regarding investment in energy stock was provided by Mr. B. B's clients made a good amount of profit, means his advice was workable. Like, he was giving a good advice. And like Mr. B, from advice regarding investment in energy sector, the overall income was 25 lakh 60,000 in calendar year 2021. What do you think in current scenario? Is Mr. B liable for professional misconduct? Good, Vanshika. Amira, I'm not sure with respect to like that. That's not the correct answer. No, that should not be the one. Yeah. Yes, Charu. he is providing management consultancy services. So in practice, he is providing the services which are permissible. Is he liable? Uh, so that's the question. Good, Tanisha. Very good. Correct, Mr. Erogonalu. Good, Anaga. Okay, Charu. Good. Now, with the help of this question, I'll explain you two different things. Number one, the term management consultancy service, which is defined under Section 2.2 of Chartered Accountants Act, is for the purpose of defining whether the person is in practice or not. Understand, Morgan? So this particular term, management consultancy service, is for purpose of defining whether a member is in practice or not. Or you can say, in other words, that services that can be rendered by a member in practice. Okay. These are services a member can render by being in practice. In other words, but there is one catch. Chartered Accountants Act allows you to render the services. That is fine. Along with this, you need to check a member needs to verify whether whether he can provide such services to his or her client, okay, as per the provision of other laws like Companies Act. So, for example, Section 144. Now, what I'm just specifying here is a very good example. Again, a lot of confusion is used to have earlier with respect to this. For example, Section 144 kind of debars or kind of restricts statutory auditor by in restricts statutory auditor to provide other services. Okay, that is a Section 144. Section 144 does not restrict a chartered accountant to provide the services. It restricts the stat auditor. Again, there's a difference between both of them. So Section 144 restricts statutory auditor, not chartered accountant. Not chartered accountant, but it is applicable to a statutory auditor. If a chartered accountant who is not a statutory auditor, he can still provide those services which are enumerated in Section 224, that is management consultancy service, to a company. So Section 144 is only applicable to stat auditors, not to other chartered accountants who are not state auditors. Simple. Means if I am a chartered accountant, I can deliver investment advisory service to a person or to a company who is registered under the company set. There is no issue in that because management consultancy service, says, okay, I can render. Chartered accountant X says I can render by being in practice. On the other end, section 144 does not restrict me because I'm not a statutory auditor. I'm fine. I'll render the service. But if I was a statutory auditor, in that case, section 144 would have been applicable to me. So when I'm rendering any services, which is part of, let's say, management consultancy services, I need to verify as a whether the other laws and regulations are restricting me for while providing the services or not. So in the example that we discussed, okay, uh, Mr. B is a practicing chartered accountant engaged in conducting statutory energy and environment audit for his audit clients. So he is a statutory auditor, and a statutory auditor cannot provide other services as per section 144. So here section 144 will come into play. If those are the companies, if those are the companies, if those are not the companies, then some other law might be in play. Let's say if those are not the companies but individuals, okay, or kind of any other body corporate or any other entity, then that specific law will be into the picture. But in that case also he won't be able to allow, because in most of the laws and regulations, if you see, statutory auditor are not allowed to deliver any other services. Again, if being a statutory auditor, if he is, let's say for example, if he is statutory auditor and he's also rendering some other services, then there are high chances that it could be a self-review threat. So there are chances of self-review threat. In that case, statutory auditors are not allowed to deliver other services. So he can be held liable. Mr. B can be held liable for the professional misconduct. Okay, in the current scenario. But if he was not a statutory auditor, then it would have been fine. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt with respect to this particular point? Any doubt? So I hope I'm clear with respect to how the definition of management consultancy service and the requirement for the practice is different from what is enumerated in section 144. Any doubts? No? No doubts? Okay. If no doubts, then let's move forward and understand the next topic, that is with respect to who can engage into practice, or company form is specifically not allowed to engage in accountancy or in practice. So let's understand that requirement too. Now, companies are usually not allowed to engage in practice. Okay. Companies are not allowed to engage in practice, and that is specified under Section 25 of the CA. So, no company incorporated in India or elsewhere shall practice as a chartered accountant. That is the first criteria of the section. No company incorporated in India or elsewhere, okay, shall practice as a CA. That is uh, that is for there. Now, if any of the company does that, then there is a penalty. For violation, the penalty is that uh, every director, okay, manager, secretary, or any other officer who was part of such violation knowingly, okay, so director, officer, manager, or you can say secretary, part of violation, okay, part of violation knowingly, then in that case, okay, then in that case, they can be punishable with a fine, first conviction, and subsequent conviction. So for the first conviction, they can be fined uh, up to 1,000 rupees. For the subsequent conviction, they can be fined up to 5,000 rupees. Okay. So that is a fine which is there. And somewhere you can say it's not that much big fine which is there, but yes, that is a fine which is there for the first conviction and for the subsequent conviction. And this fine is upon the director, manager, officer, secretary of the company. Okay. Now, uh, uh, whether this violation includes LLP, okay, was a question. Now, LLP are not allowed to be appointed as an auditor accordance with the Companies Act 2013. However, if a LLP has a partner, okay, then CA partner in if LLP has a partner who is in practice, or if LLP is registered with the institute, then it is fine. Okay, so for example, let's say there is a company, or you can say ABC LLP. Now ABC LLP has three partners. Mr. A, he is a member of institute. Mr. B, again member of institute. Then the third partner of the LLP is ABC Limited, or private limited basically. Now ABC Private Limited had two key shareholders. One, Mr. A, he was holding uh, let's say 60% shares, and Mr. B, he is holding rest of 40% shares in ABC Private Limited. Do you think this arrangement is allowed? Can ABC LLP be registered uh, for practice? Do you think LLP ABC can be registered for practice? What do you think? Can ABC LLP be registered for practice? What do you think? Good, Tanisha. Very good. Can ABC LLP, be registered for practice? Okay. Good, Tanisha. Good. Again, so it has three partners. Partner one, Mr. A, partner two, Mr. B, and partner three, that is ABC Private Limited, which is the where part member Mr. A is holding 60% shares, member Mr. B is holding 40% shares. Good, Pooja, very good. Come on, guys. What do you think? Absolutely correct. Yes, ABC LLP cannot be registered as a partner as for the practice. Yes, the reason because of the ABC Private Limited company cannot be even partner in practicing firm. So if a firm wants to register itself, like if a LLP want to register itself uh, as an for practice, then it should not have a company as a partner. So in that case, it cannot be registered. No. Answer is no. Now, in line with this, I have one more question to discuss. Let's say, for example, I'll take a hypothetical example and then let's see. Let's assume hypothetically, okay, in an example that ABC LLP has three partners. Okay, that is Mr. A, who is member of institute and eligible to hold COP. Mr. B, again, who is member and eligible to hold COP. And Mr. C, who is a member but not eligible to hold COP. Okay. So ABC Limited, ABC LLP has three partners, A, B, and C. A is eligible, B is eligible to hold COP, and Mr. C, who is a member but not eligible to hold COP. Can ABC LLP be allowed to practice as a chartered accountant? Sorry. Can I allow, or can the ABC LLP practice as a chartered accountant? Come on, guys. Can the ABC LLP practice as a chartered accountant? Mr. C does not have uh, Mr. C does not have the eligibility to hold COP. Let's say, for example, he is in full-time employment. He is also partner in LP, but is also full-time in employment somewhere else. What do you say? Come on, guys, quickly. Do you think ABC LLP can be allowed to practice as a chartered accountant? And it's a good question because this is a doubt that have okay, we can say with respect to the company, okay, we are fine. Company cannot practice. If company is a partner, then it cannot practice. That is for sure. That is clear. What about other cases? That is very important to understand. Because based on this only we will be able to understand, okay, what is the registration requirement and everything. Come on, guys, quickly. Come on, come on. Okay. Good Amit, good Vanshika, good Aniket, good Edu Kondalu. Very good. Good. Okay. So for this particular scenario, let's refer back to the provision and let's understand the requirement of the provision first. Okay. Now, what provision says with respect to registration? Now, provision says that in case of, let's say for example, a charter accountant, is there, like who are barred, disbarred from practicing as a charter accountant? That is the corporate. Companies, whether incorporated in India, shall not practice as a charter accountant. Okay, and there is a note also which says that for the removal of doubts, it is that the company shall include any limited liability partnership which has a company as a partner. It's not somewhere that that partner should be holding eligible to hold COP. Yeah, majority of the partners should be eligible to hold COP, but not, it is fine if it is they are not all the partners are eligible to hold COP. Okay, so in that case, it is perfectly fine. And same goes with my requirement with respect to section 6 of the Chartered Accountants Act. Okay. So section 6 of the Chartered Accountants Act specifically says that member of the institute can practice once he has obtained a certificate from the council. Okay. Now, if the now when a firm has a majority of the chartered accountants can obtain a certificate of practice from council, and then they can practice as an practice in the field of accountancy, that is perfectly fine, or they can practice basically usually. So in that case, they can practice. Now the point comes in wherein with respect to the sign. So practice, yes. Just a minute. So practice is possible, yes. Now comes to the signing part. With respect to the sign, Companies Act or any other acts allow only a chartered accountant in practice to sign who are holding COP. Okay. So if a person is holding a COP, okay, he is registered with the institute, then only he can sign. Otherwise, he cannot sign. As per section 141 of the Companies Act, okay, if a LLP is appointed as the auditor of the company, then chartered accountants shall only, who are eligible for COP can be authorized to act and sign on behalf of firm. So for signing, only Mr. A and B are there, not Mr. C. So Mr. C cannot sign because he is not eligible to hold COP. He is not eligible to engage himself in the practice, but he is a member of institute. That's why he can be a partner. Clear? And the same goes when we will be discussing the schedules to the charter to the act. Over there, we will see in basically first schedule, okay, part 1, we will see where can we have a partnership, or which kind of partnerships are allowed with the persons. So in clause 2 and clause 3, we will see the type of partnership where members of other professional bodies are also allowed to be a partner. But are they allowed to sign? Answer is no. So for that, we have a regulation 53A 1 and 50, I think 53B. Yes, there are two regulations, 53A1 and 53B for that. And we'll see at the time of that particular discussion of the clause that Yes, partnership can be there with even other professionals, not only member of institute, but other professionals. However, who can sign is a question. Like that is something, the law decides based on which the engagement or the audit is being conducted. Now, the question is, what is the purpose of having one without COP? Uh, I'd say too early to answer because there could be a lot of scenarios where you would require a partner, but he might not be, eligible to hold COP. For example, if you want to create a multidisciplinary firm, wherein you have a CA, you have some other knowledgeable person, okay, to provide the advice to the clients or something like that. You want to create a mix of that, which is allowed as per the regulations also, which is fine as per the regulations. In that case, you could have a scenario that one without COP could be a member or could be a partner. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt with respect to this? Any doubt? No? Okay. If no doubts, then let's quickly see one of the KYC norms which are applicable to charter accountant in practice. Okay. KYC norm for CA in practice. Now, KYC norms differ uh, for categories. Okay. For example, when I say KYC norms, basically, they are based on the type of client. Now, let's say, for example, if my client is a individual or sole proprietor, then KYC norm differs. If my client is a corporate entity, then KYC norm differs. And if the client is non-corporate entity, then the KYC norm differs. Now, what will be the non-corporate entity other than sole proprietorship or individual? That is LLP, partnership, or some kind of AOP, BOI, whatever it is, which is not a corporate form. Okay. Now, what are the KYC norms for them? So KYC norms are usually divided in three categories. Then, what information I need to collect from these type of clients? One is the general information that I need to collect. General information will include, in case of, let's say, for example, I have a client individual. So what is general information I would collect? Name of individual. Then you can say PAN, Aadhaar. Then business description. Okay. Copy of last audited financial statements. Copy of audited FS. That could be the general information I can collect. In case of corporate, the general information remains the same. Just the only difference comes is, instead of name of individual, I have a name of corporate that I need to collect. Aadhaar and PAN of corporate, business description of the corporate or company. That's it. Same goes with my uh, non-corporate, basically entity. So let me remove this one. Just a minute. I'll say name of client because it remains same across all the three categories. Okay. This is same across all the three categories. About engagement information for the purpose for which I have been appointed into the engagement. Then what information I need to collect from engagement side is same for all the three. For what type of engagement? Okay, I am being appointed. It's same, doesn't differ. Now the third one differs, regulatory information. In case of individual, you do not have a regulatory information, so not applicable. In case of company, yes, you have a regulatory information. Okay. What is the regulatory information basically? A kind of, you can say, company pen, company Aadhaar, okay. Then director's name, address, contact. Then you have a SIN number or DIN number, SIN slash DIN number of the company. Okay, so this could be the regulatory information with respect to the company. Now, some will say you have already have Aadhaar and PAN over here, then why to include again? See, when I say Aadhaar and PAN over here, it could be of a contact person who is contacting you. Business description of the company, yes. Copy of audited financial statement, yes. And even for the company, you may go for the name of parent company in case of subsidiary. Now, regulatory information for non-corporate entity, again, is not applicable. Because you have already covered, these details over here in corporate entity. Now the question might arise, let's say for example, if it is a LLP, whether I will classify LLP as a regulatory or non-regulatory, as a corporate entity or non-corporate entity. Generally, LLP will be covered under corporate entities because they are registered in a particular act. Also over there, you have a partner identification number. You have the, same like the directors of the company, you have details and everything of the partner. So LLP again will fall under the category of corporate. Or you can even, if I go with respect to, let's say for example, non-corporate, doesn't make any difference because at that particular point in time also, I need to collect PAN and Aadhaar of the all the partners in LLP. If they have a DIN number or any number allocated to them, then that number also. So better to classify here. Any doubts with respect to the KYC norms? Any doubts? Okay. If no doubts, then I suggest let's keep till here. In the next lecture, there are 2 points that I need to cover. One is with respect to the branch. Okay. That will take starting 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that. And then we will shift to the schedules that are the main important topic that I will be covering from tomorrow. So before next lecture, please make sure you have some kind of reading of the schedules so that it will be easy for me when I'll take you through those schedules. Okay, we can quickly go through and review what is first schedule, second schedule, the clauses of part one, part two, part three, part four, everything. Okay, so have a basic reading. I'm not saying you have a detailed reading, but at least have a basic reading. Okay, just to summarize, okay, let me provide a summary also. So, to provide a summary, what we discussed today, just give me a minute. Let me go back. We started with the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, where we discussed the disability for the membership, Section 8. Then we discussed the type of membership. Okay, then we discussed about the removal from the name of register, that is Section 20. We talked about restoration of membership. Then we discussed penalty for falsely claiming to be a member, that is Section 24. Then we discussed the significance and importance of COP, that you cannot appear in front of any authority where you used to appear as a CA once you are no longer into practice or a member. Then we discussed Regulation 5.3, that is a qualification equivalent to the experience that was requirement under this type of membership, Section 5 over there, who possesses such qualification as may be prescribed. That is qualification Regulation 5.3. So we discussed in detail Regulation 5.3. Okay. Then we discussed to be in practice, deemed to be in practice, Section 2.2. Then we discussed management consultancy services from module in detail, the list. We discussed how it plays an important role with Section 144, how they both are different. Then we discussed company not to engage in accountancy. And now we discuss the KYC norms. I hope I'm clear. Okay. So, thank you guys. If no further doubts, I propose to close the session and lecture here today. And in next lecture, please have a basic reading so that, it will be easy for us to quickly go through the topics. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for participating in the session. Thank you very much. Yes.